So last class we have seen the aspect of the sequence detector, not the design, but just understanding what is that, like overlapping, non-overlapping concept. So here we'll be using this excitation tables. Use of excitation tables comes into picture. Okay. And by default, we try to take this as a synchronous design, wherein for each clock, one bit will be taken. And so let me take a sequence, a simple sequence, say 0101 is the sequence we want to design for. So can you identify how many number of bits can be taken as overlap, if any overlap bits are there?
2.
2 bits are there. So last 2 bits can be taken as first 2 bits of the next sequence. So here, what is the limitation of these designs is that all these comes as FSMs, we say, finite state machines. Finite in the sense the number of states are fixed. We cannot have infinite, or we won't have infinite number of states. The number of states in the machine will be fixed, finite state machines, FSMs. Okay, so the maximum number of states n-bit sequence detector will be n, or less than n only it will be. Maximum is n, okay, not more than n. Okay, so here we try to take the merger graph, we try to, sorry, the diagram, merger diagram. Merger, did we see this merger concept?
No.
No, okay, so let me take it later. So start with the state diagram we define, then we go for the concept of merging and all. Using state diagram or state table, we need to first give the design in terms of the present state, next state, output with respect to the input element. So this format we have to bring out the problem statement. So start with this will be the first bit if we are detecting, and this is the last bit we detect. So what should be the output of the sequence? If X is the input and Z is the output, until the 4 bits are found, it should be 0. Okay. So overlapping and non-overlapping, we can be taking that in the same state diagram. What does that differ is the last step, where it should retrieve back, or where it should be going after detecting the last bit. That categorizes that into overlapping or non-overlapping, or what you say, division of that state diagram into overlap state diagram and non-overlap state diagram. Okay, so first initial state, if A is considered, when a new wanted bit is coming, it will go to a new state. The transition from the present stable state to next stable state, it happens. Okay, so if input 0 is coming, it goes to new state, let us name it as B. Now 0 is the input, output still will be 0. Okay, in the present state of A, if 1 is the input coming, if instead of 0, say we are getting 1, that means we are taking the string of bits, something like this. Some string of input bits are coming into the system, and you will be finding the uh, sequence wherever it is happening. Okay, so if 1 is coming, where it should go? Will it start the detection of the sequence? First bit instead of 0, if 1 is coming, it is not the sequence bit, or it is not in the sequence, that bit. So it should be in the same initial state A. So 1 is the input, output will be 0. Okay. So in the present state of A, the two possible inputs we have seen and analyzed what is the state transition. For input 1, it will be into the same state A, generating output 0. If it is input 0, first bit detected, it goes to a new transition or new state, generating an output 0. Okay. In the present state of B, what is the next bit we need to get is 1. We are supposed to identify the input bit as 0. That means incoming bit should be 0. Another 0 is coming. We can discard the first 0. Consider the second 0 coming as the input bit. Consider the second incoming bit as the input bit. That is in sequence. So once here, if 0 is the input you are getting in the present state of P, okay, it discards the first 0 and it will be staying back in the same state B. In sequence, it will be skipped. It will be in the same state A. Actually, it should be going to C. Okay, that's why we are not taking that back to A. See here, if it is retrieving back in same state of B now, if next bit is 1, say, it will be in the path. It will be going to a right next state, C. Okay, next bit should be 0. That means in this present state of C, next bit should be 0. Say 0 if you are getting, it goes to a new state, stable state D. Now what is the output? Output is still 0. Generates a 0. Now in the present state of C, until we reached this state, 0, 1 was the input what we identified. 0, 1 is the input what we identified. Okay, one more 0 that is in sequence if you are getting, that machine is going to state B. Now here, in place of 0 if you get 1, in place of 0 if you get 1, you check whether these bits are falling into the sequence first. If they are there, okay, as we have discarded something here and identified or considered the next bit into the sequence that is falling into the sequence, that sort of assessment has to be done. So if we take that sort of assessment here, 0, 1, 1 is the string of inputs that happened until C now, until C. Okay, but not even a single bit falls as the sequence bit. So what should be the next state transition? In the present state C, you received 0, 1, which is in sequence. Next bit received is 1, which is not at all in any of the sequence combination. Then it will reset or take back to A. That means with 1 generating 0. Okay, if it is 0, it is in sequence, it goes to D. Now here comes your last bit wherein if it is overlapping or non-overlapping, the path will be different. Until this point, both overlapping and non-overlapping state diagram will be same. Okay, the last bit, that is 1. Okay, here if you reach the state D, you are identifying 0, 1, 0. 0, 1, 0. Okay, now say the last bit is 0. The last bit is 0. Here in the state D, last bit is 0. You are getting. Where should the design, or where should the next state transition be?
2B.
0, 1, 0. Again, one more 0 you are getting. Okay. And this is not in the sequence. Actually, this is not in the sequence. But what happens here, this last bit of the until found sequence can be identified or can be taken into consideration as the first bit that happened to be 0 in the present sequence. First bit 0. I can take this 0 as the first bit. So I can, or I should take this back into state B if this is 0. That means I discard these bits. I'm discarding the first 3 bits, and the last bit of 0 will be considered as the first bit of the next coming sequence. Okay. Now in the state of D, if you are getting say 0, sorry, state of D, 0, 1, 0 is formed. If you get 1, okay, now this is sequence detected. If the sequence is detected, your output should be 1. Some disturbance is coming, you mute them. 0, 1, 0, 1 is the in sequence now. Now, for non-overlapping, what is the outcome, or what should be the next step after it is generating an output 1? It should reset back to initial state, that is A. So this will reset back to initial state A, generating an output 1. If it is non-overlap, the last step differs now. Okay, if it is overlap, the last 2 bits overlap 0, 1, 0, 1. The last 2 bits we are taking them as first 2 bits now. When the first 2 bits of 0, 1 is found in the sequence, where is the machine, or which state the machine is in? See here,
C.
0, 1 is found in C. So this D goes back to C if it is for overlapping, generating 1. This is for overlap sequence detected. So according to our design need, okay, both the things I'm putting that in the state same state diagram. So which one you are designing, accordingly that state diagram you have to consider and you have to design. Hope you understood how we have taken this transitions from one state to other state. Understood? See, you check this even if you want. Say, if 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, say I'm taking a simple example sort of thing. So these are the input bits you are getting in. This will be random inputs what we are getting. For explanation, I'm taking, say, this sort of input is there. For non-overlapping, what will be the output? This is first sequence, second sequence, and anyhow it is not full sequence, so it will be 0, 0, 0, 1. Non-overlapping, I'm saying non-overlap. This is 0, 0, 0, 1. That means it will reset back to initial state and wait till the new sequence is happening, and this will be 0, 0. For overlap, Z of overlap, if you take, what will be your output? This is 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay. Now this becomes the second sequence. This is the second overlapped sequence. So 0, 1 it should be. And this becomes third overlapped sequence, this one. This third overlap. So 0, 1. And if you take, this is fourth overlap sequence, 0, 1. That means, let me see if this state diagram is giving the output as defined for Z of non-overlap and Z of overlap. Say, Z of non-overlap you take 0, 1, output is 0, 0, 0, 1, taken back to state A here. Okay, that means 0, 0, output 0, input is 0, 1, 0, 1, output is 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, so it is getting reset here because this is taken back to A. And again 0, 1, 0, 1 is happening, you will be getting 0, 0, 0, 1 as the output. So that is the thing what you get. So again 0, 1 is there, 0, 1, output is 0, 0. Finished here. Okay, overlap we see 0, 1, 0, 1. This is the path, no? 0, 1, 0, 1. Output is 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, next 0, 1 if you get, your output should be 1. No? Next 0, 1 you get, your output should be 1. So 0, 1, one more 1 you will be getting as the output. One more 0, 1 if you get, again 1 you will be getting. One more 0, 1. You'll get output 1. One more 0, 1. Again you get output 1. So this is correct state diagram. The transitions are correct. Hope you understood, everyone understood, or you need one more example or one more pattern.
Ma'am, can you tell one more example?
Okay, tell me a 4-bit sequence, any 4-bit sequence of your choice. Any 4-bit sequence of your choice.
1001.
1001. No? 0. Okay. So how many bits can be considered as overlap here? If it is overlap, how many bits? 1 bit only, na? Only 1 bit will be the overlap bit. Okay. Now we start with A is the initial state. In this initial state, if input is 1, we are receiving 1, it goes to state B, generates an output 0. If input is 0 in present state of A, we didn't start the identification of the sequence bit. Okay, instead of 1, you are getting 0. That means it will be in the same state A, 0, generating 0. In the present state of B, you identified the first bit. Now here it should be 0. If 0 happens, okay, it goes to state C. 0 is received, it goes to state C, generating 0. Now here in state B, if in place of 0, you are getting 1. 1 is identified when you are receiving or reaching the state B. If here 1 is there, one more 1 you are receiving. It is not in the sequence because 1, 0 should be in sequence. It is not in the sequence, but first 1 identified can be discarded, and the second incoming 1 which falls to be the a bit in the sequence. Okay, we can consider this into the sequence and identify what is the stage it should be. If 1 is the input coming or received, where it goes is state B. So on receiving 1, it goes back to state B, stays there, generating 0. Okay. When receive or reaching state C means already we received 1, 0 or identified 1, 0. Next bit should be 0. Next bit should be 0. So 0 if you are receiving, it goes to state D, and this will be generating an output 0. Now in this situation or in the present state of C, when you are getting 1, it is supposed to be 1 0 0, okay, transition till D is okay. But in the present state of C, if you get 1 1 0 1, it is not 1 0 0 as per the sequence. That means it is not in the sequence. Okay. Now, let us see if any of the bits what we received so far can be taken as the first bits of our sequence. So the last one what we received can be taken as the first one in the next incoming stream. Okay. So discard these bits, and this 1 will be taken as the first bit of the sequence identified. Means that if 1 is received, it will be in state B, no? So take this back to state B. If 1 is received, output is 0. Okay. If it is 0 and it is in sequence, goes to B. If it is 1, the first 2 bits will be discarded. The third new bit coming will be taken as the first bit of the sequence. So when first bit of the sequence is identified, the state will be in state B. The machine will be in state B. So take transition, generating output of 0. Now, when you receive, you reach D, 0, 0, here 1. If it is 0, that means no bit in the first bits of the next sequence or next incoming bits, first sequence bits. So what we have to do is, if no bit is falling into the wanted sequence, we have to discard all the bits. Once we discard that, means we have to reset back to initial state, generating 0. This is for 1 0 0 0 happening. Now 1 0 0 1, for non-overlapping, if you take non-overlapping, it should reset back and it should be generating output 1. This is non-overlap. Same transition. Okay. And if it is overlap, last bit is taken as the first bit of the next sequence. And that means last bit is taken as the first bit of the sequence. When first bit is identified, the machine is in state B. So it will go back to state B, generating output. So this is an output for overlap. Okay. Understood? Still, if any doubt is there regarding the transition or considering the bits and all, you can ask. No questions? Okay. We go to the next step. Okay. What is the next step? We have given the list of the rules now. The rules we have listed in the last class. When we are synthesizing the sequential machines, what are the rules of synthesis? What are the rules of synthesis? Happened, no one is answering. Huh?
Divide, give state table 1.
From that is the first rule. Next.
Divide into transition table and output table.
Derive. First one is deriving state table or state diagram. That is derive, not divide.
Next ma'am.
Derive the
Next divide into transition and output table.
okay. Second step you are telling. Okay. From that you divide that or separating the transition table and the output table. Next step, checking the redundancies. Wherever there is a possibility of minimizing the number of states, it has to be done. Okay. So still that step is not taught to you. Maybe just put it as a point, but later you can take that point into consideration for the design. Redundancy check for minimizing the number of states or like cutting down the number of states in the state table or diagram. Okay. Next step, assigning the state variables. Number of state variables. Assigning the state variables. When you assign the state variables, if the number of states are minimized, less number of state variables will be used or needed. Yes or no? Next, after state assigning, determine what type of memory that has to be used. Deriving the state diagram or table. Okay. From that, check for redundancies. Next, divide into transition and output table. Next one is state assignment. Assign the states with state assignment means with state variables it will be assigned. Okay. Next step, determine the type of memory. Determine the type of memory used. That means memory, it can be a D flip-flop, JK, SR or T. Okay. Then use the excitation tables. Derive the equations, minimized equations. This is excitation, short form. Excitation tables, derive the equations. Okay. Then after that, you go for the circuit diagram. This in between few points we have to take into consideration is that once we derive the memory, assign the values and derive the memory, okay, you get the excitation table help and you derive this equation. But in between, here when we are assigning the values, we are giving state variables. Okay, we give y1, y2 if 4 states are there. Say A, B, C, D is the state. Okay, this is okay. Until this is what we call it as assigning the state variables for the states. Here what we have to give is defining, that means deriving this excitation table and equations. We need to give the values for these state variables. That is 4 combinations are possible. This is called as binary format of assigning, and again you need to go for gray order of assigning. Both the things has to be done. This is one step where we need to repeat this step for defining the equations. Okay, first you give a binary assignment for these values y1, y2, derive the state tables, from the tables derive the equations. Then again you assign the gray order of values to y1, y2, then use the excitation table, derive the equations. And here before going to the circuit diagram, which assigning pattern. That means binary assignment or gray assignment. Which one is giving you a minimal form of equation, less number of terms, less number of midterms, or less number of variables in the equation? That we call it as a valid assignment. Then using this valid assignment, we have to go for the circuit diagram. Okay? Using the valid assignment, we have to go for the circuit diagram. Okay. Now, for this example, we do this steps now. See here, derive or what you say, determine the memory if it is given. This step involves in something like identifying whether you are using a D flip-flop or SR or JK or T flip-flop. Okay. For if it is D flip-flop, the equations will be in terms of Y, capital Y. For SR, JK or T, this will be in terms of SR, S and R equation, J and K equation and T equation. Only for D flip-flop, it will be normal capital Y that is used for the next state. Okay, I'll give one example for that also. Say this is your table B, C, D. You are getting after you derive the values. Okay, x is 0 and x is 1. What is the next state you are getting out? Okay, here state A, if it is 0, goes to B, generating 0. If it is 1, stays back in the A, generating 0. B stays back in B, generating 0. And if it is 1, goes to state C, generating 0. And in C, if 0 is the input, goes to D, generating output 0. And 1, it goes to A, generating output 0. And I take for overlap table. For D, if it is 0, where is it going? 0. It goes to B, generating 0. If it is 1 input, it is overlapping. For overlapping sequence, I am taking the design. It goes to C, generating 1. This is your state table. Okay. Now, here, what is the next step? We need to give the assignment, assigning the variables. How many number of states are there? Based on that, we decide how many number of state variables are needed. So here we need 2. So y1, y2, whichever order you are taking, the same order you have to consider here also, y1, y2. This is your state assignment, assigning the states with the number of state variables according to the number of states derived. Okay, so now here what we have to do is divide this into transition table and output table we are saying. So y1, y2, you can take this in this order also, y2, y1 also. Then in that sense, this becomes y2, y1. It's up to the designer. This has to be clearly mentioned in their document what is the order they have taken. Okay. So when x is 0 and 1, what is the next state? Is one table. That is, this is called as transition table. And this is your A, B, C, D. And B, A, B, C, D, A, B, C. That means only states we take, the transition of one state to other state will be defined in the transition table. The other one is output table. This will be output table. Output table is, that means we need to divide this into the tables we are saying. No? Output table. A, B, C, D, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Then, what is that next thing? Say if it is implemented by a D flip-flop, say. This. If this is implemented by a D flip-flop, how many number of variables we have, that many D elements are needed. Okay, if this is combinational logic, this will be y1, y2, all y1, 2, x, z. This is the design. So this will be x, this will be z. Say y1 and this is y2. We'll be getting this as y2. Okay. And if this is D flip-flop, if you are taking, each D flip-flop clock and the system clock, both will be common. This will be system clock. Okay. Now this is Q of y1 and this will be Q of y2. Or else D1, D2 if you take Q1, Q2, whatever you name here. So this is D flip-flop. For implementing a D flip-flop, we need the equations of capital Y's, y1, y2 and z in terms of x, y1, y2, x, y1, y2, x, y1, y2. Okay. Now see here, this is a machine or this is a design what can be categorized as Mealy, a Mealy machine. Why? Because what is Mealy machine? Mealy-Moore we said in the last class, I suppose. A Mealy machine is the one whose output depends on both the present state and the input. Mealy machine is the machine whose output depends upon both the present state and the input. That is Mealy. Moore machine is like the output depends purely on the present state. The state defines the output of the system. That sort of machine we call it as Moore machine. But see here, what is the difference between Mealy and Moore? Z, that means output depends on the present state and this present state and the input. This one is Moore and this one is Mealy. In Mealy, what is the characteristic thing is any state can have either 0 or 1 value. See here, state C in state B, in the present state of B, when an input of 1 is given, state C is getting an output of 0. But the same state C in the present state of D, for the same input of X is 1, output is 1. That means it is having two different values. It is having two different values. That means based on your present state as well as the input combination, the output is defined or derived. Then that machine we call it as Mealy. That Mealy machine defines the state values or the output values to be different. But Moore is not so. Moore, every state, any state defined with a specific output will not have another output. Say a state, if it is defined with 0, it will not be 1. This won't happen. If state is defined with 1, it will not have 0. That means the value of the output will be fixed, only one single value. That type of machines we call it as Moore machine. But here we are seeing two different values per state. It's Mealy. Okay, so this is the equation that we need to implement this design. Okay, now what is the next step? Next step, determining the memory, we need to take the transitions we said, no? And derive the equations. See, here, what is this step? We need to first give a binary format, next give a gray format, derive the equations, then we go for the implementation. See here. If A is 0, 0, B is taken 0, 1, C is taken as 1, 0, and this D is taken as 1, 1. This is binary, normal binary order. Okay. How do we write this is replace these values with your 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. This goes to x is 0 and 1. Your y1, y2, p 0, 1, a 0, 0, p it is 0, 1, c is 1, 0, d is 1, 1, a is 0, 0, b is 0, 1, c is 1, 0. So this is your transition. But anyhow, here directly you can derive the equation of z 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. If you take z is x of y1, y2. This will be simple, but deriving this, you need to again go for Cray assignment and see for valid assignment. Okay. Now see here. We need to get the equations of y1 and y2. We are saying these two equations in terms of small y1, small y2 and x. So I can simplify, or I can take this into a K-map, three variable K-map, wherein this becomes x is 0, 1, y1, y2, this is x is 0, 1.
Ma'am, once explain how we got those values in the above paper.
So these are the values. These are the values of like we are deducing that with the values what we assigned. We have to take help of this table now. This is your transition table now. A is assigned with 0, 0. Okay, B is assigned with 0, 1. C is assigned with 1, 0. D is assigned with 1, 1. These are the values what we are assigning. Okay, that means binary assignment. And this A is going to B. What is B? 0, 1. So 0, 1. A is going to A. What is A? 0, 0.
Okay.
Okay. Then later what we have taken is we split this into the K map for y1 and y2 separately. Okay. So see here, this is for y1, this is for y2. y1 and y2 for x is 0, x is 1. Okay. So x is 0 for y1. This is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. See here, 0, 0. This is 0, 0. And 1, 0 it is 1. 1, 0 it is 1. And 1, 1 it is 0. For x is 0. X is 1, 0, 1. This is 0, 1. And this is 0, 1. That means 0 and this is 1. So for y1 equation, after minimization or after subcubing, what you get is x of y2 or x dash y1 y2 dash. Any possibility of minimization is there, you can take up. Any possibility of further minimization is there, you can take up. Okay. Okay. Next is for y2. For y2, this column. All are ones. See, x is 0, all are ones now. And this is all are 0. So what is the equation for y2? This will be x dash now. So how do you implement this design is here in this combi, in this block, this combinational block, we try to take the design for what you say, this is for z in terms of x, y1, y2. That means based on the equations, we are taking this is your y2, this is y1, this is z, and this is your combinational block. And here you'll have x, y1, y2. So according to this equation, give the connectivities here. Okay, this is x of give the connectivities. Should I draw? Just give the connectivities from these points. Now, this will be going through the D flip-flop, okay, and this will be updated for the next clock cycle. This is D going to system clock, and here also you get the same system clock. And this is Q of that D192. Okay, so this is using a binary assignment we have derived. Now, the next one is that you have to see for gray assignment also. Actually, this circuit diagram I have shown here directly, but taking this into a gray order also, we have to derive the equation, then see which one is giving a minimal, what you say, irreducible form of equation. That should be considered for the physical design. Okay, let me see for this now. Let me take that as take here 00011110 0001110. This is gray assignment. This is what we say, it's a trial and error sort of thing. We have to repeat this step for both the formats of assigning y1, y2, 00011110. Goes to x is 0 and x is 1. 0 1 0 0 0 1 1 1 1 0 0 0 0 1 1 1. That means this shuffling we have done gray order. Now this z will be equation of z differs now. For this assignee, your z will be z is equal to x of y1 y2 dash. Okay, and here what we have to take is in the same gray order, the same gray order, it is simple to fill 0 0 0 1 1 1 0. Directly you can take this as 1 over, this is 1 over 1. Okay, now this is giving you an equation of y1, capital Y1 is equal to x of y1 dash y2 or y1 or y2 dash x or x dash of y1 y2. Okay. And this is your equation. Now maybe reshuffling you do, this becomes x of exclusive of y1 y2. Okay, but still complexity you have to check with this and this. Next, what is the equation of y2? That means there is no assurance that gray will be giving a minimized form or binary will be giving a minimized form. It depends on the designs now. Your problem statement and design. 1 and 1. See what is the minimization possible. So you can take these two. You can take these two. Okay. And this can be taken with this fellow or these two can be taken. So what is that equation of y2 you get is little bit more complex than this assignment. Number of terms you are getting is 3 midterms you are getting. Okay. So which order of assigning is a valid assignment for this example? See, binary order, we were getting this as the circuit. Gray order, if you are taking, the complexity of y1 and y2 equations is more. No? y2 you are getting 3 minterms and y1 you are getting 3 minterms. Whereas here, y2 it is only one term. So which one is giving you a minimal or the most minimal possible irreducible form of equation? That we take it as a valid assignment. Is it okay? Understood? What is that valid assignment means? I won't get any quick answer from anyone. No quick answer. I asked whether you understood
it's clear.
what is the meaning of valid assignment. I said you assign for a gray order and derive the equations. Then again you assign for binary order for the state variables, derive the equation, which gives you a less complex to minimized equations. That means, how do you consider that to be less complex to minimized equation? If the number of minterms are less in the equation or the number of variables in the minterms are less in the equation. That is the thing what we were telling right from the beginning. Huh? When you minimize, which one gives you less number of minterms or which equation gives you less number of variables in the minterms? That is called to be a more what you say design oriented efficient equation, because the minterms are less and gates will be less. The fan in for the OR gate will be less. That is the first point what we have seen in the fundamental approach, the K-maps minimization or normal minimization stuff. So which equation or which assigning is giving you a most irreducible or what you say most minimal equation, that is called as valid assignment. This is the K-map what we have got for a binary order of assigning. This is binary. And this is the K-map what we got for a gray order. This is gray order of assigning. See, when you derive the equation of binary, what is or how many number of variables or how many number of minterms are there in y1, y2 and z? Compare that with the number of minterms and variables in z, y1, y2 for the gray order of assigning. Which one is having less, you tell me?
Binary.
Binary. So binary is said to be the valid assignment for this example or for this design. That means this last step, the circuit diagram is there, the last step. Defining the circuit diagram will be done after deriving these equations. After deriving these equations, we try to see which one is giving us a most simplest form of equation with less number of minterms and variables. That will be taken into the circuit. Or with that, the hardware will be implemented. That is the meaning of what you say a valid assignment. Okay. Now we didn't take this excitation table. Okay. For a normal D flip-flop, excitation table is not needed. Direct, it's the equation derived from the what you say this table. Okay. If we need to define or we need to design, I'll take this back with a specific memory. Specific memory means, say, in place of D flip-flop, we need to implement that with an SR flip-flop or a JK flip-flop, say. Then we need to take the help of the excitation tables. There comes the excitation table. The use of excitation table will be taken when, say, in place of this, say, I want to implement this using SR flip-flop, say. Okay. Then we need to take the excitation table. Can just any one of you give me the excitation table for SR? From What should be SR? 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. This is 0, don't care?
1 0
1, 0.
0 1 don't care 0.
Okay, this is the table we need to use. Now see here. When we take this implemented with SR, let me take here. How many number of SRs are needed? Here, if we take this for SR implementation, this is S and this is R. Okay, how many number of variables we have, that many number of SRs are needed. So it will be S1 R1, S2 R2, because each Y needs one SR. Okay, Y1 S1 R1, Y2 S2 R2, and this will be like through these equations derived, we need to give the inputs as S1 R1 S2 R2. From here we need to take them out. Okay, and what will be your output? Q of 1, Q of 2. This will be your Y1, Y2. This is your Y1, this is your Y2. This is X and this is Z. This will be your implementation. See here again, your clock is obvious. It will be there as a common system clock. That means these are all synchronous sequential designs. Okay, same system clock we use here also. I'm not writing this. Okay. Now, this is the transition. Like these are the things what we take back to the design. So this is from and this is to. The transition from to will be decided here. So what should be the inputs on SR to have a specific transition of 0 to 0, 0 to 1, 1 to 0, 1 to 1 should be decided by this excitation table. And what we take is the table, the transition table we have split here. Now there also the same thing. A valid assignment has to be considered whether it is a grade or that only you can decide. Okay. See, this is your table you are giving. With a normal binary assignment, I'm taking for the first implementation y1, y2. And when x is 0, what you get is here S1, R1, S2. Okay. When x is 1, S1, R1, S2, R2. That means here you have two values coming in. So, okay, let me give this clarity here. X is 0 and 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. What is that we get here is, this is 0, 1, 0, 0. Okay. Next, this is 0, 1, 1, 0. D, 1, 1, 0, 0. D, 0, 1. C is 1, 0. Okay. Now see, this is for y1. This is for y1. Na? This will be for y1. These two will be for y1. These two will be for y2. Huh? That means this set is for S1 R1 when x is 0. This set is for S1 R1 when x is 1. This column will be for S2 R2 when x is 0, and this column will be S2 R2 when x is 1. Okay. So here we try to fill that values based on the transitions here. See here. This is y1 of 0 going to y capital Y1, 0 to 0, 0 to 0 transition. This is this column and this column and this column is for Y1. second column, your fourth column, and sixth column will be for Y2. So the transitions how you take is when 0 to 0 on your Y1 and capital Y1, if you take X is 0, what should be S and R value? That is 0, don't care. This one. And same thing, 0 to 0, this one. 0 to 0, when X is 1, 0 to 0. 0 to 0, this is 0, don't care. Now, this is 0 to 1 transition, 0 to 1 transition, 1, 0. Next, this is 0 to 0, 0, don't care. Okay, next one, 0, 1. This is 0 to 0, that means 0, don't care is the input. Next, this is 0 to 1, 1, 1, 0. 0 to 0, 0, don't care. Next, this is 1 to 1. That means don't care 0. Don't care 0. And this is 1 to 1 over. Next 0 to 1, 1, 0. Next 1 to 0, 0, 1. 1 to 1, 1, 0. 1 to 1. What is the transition needed? Don't care 0. Next 0, 0, 1. 0 to 1, 1, 0. 0 to 0, 0, don't care. Next 1, 1. 1, 0. This means 1, 0 and 1, 1. 1, 0. 0, 1. Next 1, 1. Don't care 0. Next take this 1, 1. Don't care 0. Next this is 1, 0. What is that? 1, 0, 0, 1. Now how you have to derive is here we will be taking the equations of these values.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can we have a break of 10 minutes?
No, I said that today we cannot have the break because 12:30 exactly I have to leave and 1 o'clock I have another class.
Okay, ma'am.
Only for this time, like from next week, Wednesday, it will be from 10 o'clock only. So that we
Okay.
can have a break in between.
Okay, ma'am.
Those who want to take a break, take it in between. I'll be completing this design. Okay. See here, these are the equations that we need to define now with okay. This equations of S1, R1, S2, R2 has to be taken along with Z. Z will be anyhow this simple form of equation Y1, Y2. Whatever changes you get here is S1, R1, S2, R2 to be defined now. Now straight away this can be taken as a 3 variable K-map. This will be a 3 variable K-map. Okay. One for S1, R1, S2, R2. X is 0, 1, Y1, Y2. X is 0, 1, Y1, Y2. Same X is 0, 1, Y1, Y2. X 0, 0, 1, Y1, Y2. Okay. Now for S1, S1 you take here, 0, 0. So 0, 0, 0. So 0, 0, don't care 0. X is 0. X is 1, 0, 1. Don't care 0. This is don't care 0. So 0 I don't write. So minimization is not possible. This is your equation. You get x of y1 dash y2 and r1. R1 is don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care, 0, 1. Next, this will be don't care, 0 and 0, 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 0.
Ma'am,
Minimization.
ma'am, S1 we get don't care at 1, 1, ma'am.
S1.
We get don't care at x is equals to 1 and y1, y2, 1, 1, ma'am.
Wait, let me check it. S1. S1 is, say, 0, 0, don't care 0.
Next
this
line,
one
ma'am.
is S1. Next line, it is 0, 1. Okay. Nice. 0, 1. And this becomes don't care 0.
Yes, ma'am.
Minimization is possible. Okay. So what is the minimization you get is it is simple x of y2. Yeah. Now here, this did I take it correct? Don't care 0, 1, 0. Okay. This is don't care 0, 1. Okay. So minimization here you can take this. So derive the equation now. This is x dash of y2 on x of y2 dash. Correct? X dash of y2 or x of y2 dash. Next, S2. S2 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. S2 1, don't care. And this is don't care 1. 0, 1, don't care 0. Okay. Now minimization is this one. So this you get it as, what is the equation? Y2 or x up? Y2 or x dash? Y2 or x dash, is this correct? R2, don't care 1, don't care 1. So this will be x. Check if I have done the grouping correctly and equations derived correctly. So these equations we try to take here from this. That means
Ma'am, when
this
here?
x.
Yes.
Ma'am, S2 second row, all zeros, ma'am.
All zeros.
I took it as R1, I suppose. Yes. Some interruption was there, so I skipped the line. Okay, let it be. X is 0, 1, y1, y2, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. This is for S2. S2 is 1, the 1, don't care, and don't care 1. Okay, all zeros. S2 is all zero. Then where did I skip this one then?
You took as S1, I think, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, for S2, now this is an equation with x dash alone. And R2, it will be x. So this is all the equations of S1, R1, S2, R2. These will be in terms of your x, y1, y2. Okay. So all these equations. So from these three, that means x1, y1, y2, you have to derive the circuitry with AND OR logic. Then you connect them here. You will be updating that with the needed transitions. This is what we say a memory specific approach. If it is JK, we need to apply this excitation table of JK and we have to derive the equations. Okay, some little bit of time is needed for the sequential designs, but you follow them perfectly, using all probable, what you say, the rules, using all the methods and using all the trial and error approaches there. You have to get a minimized, what you say, a less complex design. Minimized, less complex design. So for doing so, what are the things that we have to take care is choosing the valid assignment is one step. It takes time. Choosing a valid assignment, it takes time. That means both binary order and gray order has to be assigned with the right equations. Then you have to take the circuit. And another thing is, if a specific memory is asked, again the design equations will be different. The approach will be with the excitation tables. If a SR, JK or T element is asked to be implemented in the memory path. If it is D flip-flop, okay, simple binary and gray assignment we give and we derive the equation. Again, if it is memory specific, again we have to take that equations of SR or JK or T using a gray order, using a binary order. Both has to be done once again. It's a time-taking process, but still you'll be getting the most efficient design if you take all these trial and errors incorporated. Okay, this is the total, what you say, the steps involved in designing the sequential machines. Total steps involved in the design of the sequential machines. Can you attempt for a counter using this? Counter. I think counter design we have seen in the combinational logic. If you remember that up counter, down counter sort of thing we have done. So no. What is the concept of a counting? That means how many counts you have, that many to be completed and it has to reset back. Now, counters you have up and down as we have seen in the previous classes. If I remember, I think I have completed this. And modulus counting, did we see modulus counter? Modulus counting, modulus n counter. What is this modulus n means? That it is not a full count. Modulus n count means it is not full count. N indicates how much of count it has to reset back. Okay, full count means say a 3-bit counter is taken. What is the full count? 2 power 3 means 8 counts you can do. If your counter counts 8 counts, like 0 to 7 or 7 to 0, it is full count. Okay. Using any n-bit counter, any counter you can take. If the count is not full count taken, complete count we don't do. In between we want to stop. Say I need to count 5 only. Count of 5. That means this is not a full count. If I take 2-bit counter, I get to 2, that means 4 counts I get. The next count size is 2 power 3, that means 8 counts I get. Where is this 5 coming over? I need to take a 3-bit counter, but instead of going to full count of 0 to 7, that means 8 counts, I truncate the counting at 5 itself. That means I reset the count once it is counting 5. That is called as modulus n counter. That means this is mod 5 counter. Modulus 5 counter or mod 5 counter. Mod 10 counter. Mod 10 counter. Heard of this mod 10 counter? Mod 10.
No,
That
ma'am.
means decade counter. Decade counter. Why? Because say if you take 2 power 4, 16 counts will be there. 2 power 3 means 8 counts. No? 10 means it is in between these two. That means we need to take 2 power 4. That means 4-bit counter we need to take. 4-bit counter, 16 counts are possible. But 10 is the limit. Only 10 we count. Then we reset back. That means it is a mod 10 counter. Decade counter. Decade counter. It resets back at 10. What is this? How we implement this counter is a normal, say, 3-bit counter. If you take for counting 8, say I implement mod 5, I want to implement. So this is D0, D1, oh, not a D, DT. For counter, T flip flop is used or D is used. Synchronous or asynchronous, whatever you take. Say this is system clock. I take this Q0 connected to the clock on this and connected to what is this counter? What is this counter? What is the name of this counter? Asynchronous, synchronous, whatever you want is
Asynchronous up counter.
asynchronous up counter. Okay. So what we take here is the presets and clears using preset enable, that NAND approach, everything you can take. I'm taking a preset enable. And this clear from the system clear. Now, if we leave this like this, taking all inputs of T0, T1 and T2 to be 1, it will be counting right from your 0 to 111. Yes or no? This is a normal up counter. It will count, make this clear to be 0 and preset to be 1, and your binaries will be all zeros. Then give a clock. For each clock, it will be incrementing the count and it will reach all ones. That is your normal counter. Now, if I want to implement a mod 5 counter, what is 5? That means 101. No? It starts from the initial count of 0. Take till 5. That makes 5 counts. Starting from 0, all zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 counts over. Next should be 6 if it is a normal counter, but next what we take is 0. That means we reset back. This will be followed back. This is modulus counting. So to implement this, what is that we have to do is we take this clear terminal, and we try to use, like, this is active low signal. Na? What should be the value on this line to make the binaries to be clear? It should be 0, active low. So whatever the value or wherever the count you want to reset, that specific output where its count is 1, that means the value is 1. On counting 5, Q0 or Q1, Q2, if you take this is 101. Only this Q0 and Q2, whose values are 1, where we want to reset, that will be taken and it will be given to a NAND gate, and this will be signal. What is this happening now? Only for 101, that means the count when it is reaching 5, we are initiating the clear signal. That means after this 101, this asynchronous clear will be enabled. All will be 0. Okay, and this is anyhow it will be made as 1. This 1-0 combination, once it is coming, this binaries will be clearing after the count of 101. This is modulus count, modulus 5 count. Say mod 10 count if you want to implement. What is that size of the counter? It is 4-bit count. T0, T1, T2, T3. All these connections will be same. I'm not drawing all those. The reset thing I'm taking. So this will be Q0, Q1, Q2, and Q3. Whether it is an up counter or down counter, you decide which one is connecting to this, or else use a control gate that all story will be holding good for this designs also. Only the concept of how to implement that up-down counter into a modulus count I'm taking. Okay, this control gate, whatever we have done or whatever we have seen in the design of that up-down will be holding good here also. The same circuit you can take. Only the connectivities what we are taking will be different now. See, for 10, Q0, Q1, Q2, and Q3 if you take, it is 1010. This is 10 now. So take this Q1 and Q3 outputs, take that back through the NAND gates. NAND gate input, you are initializing the clear statement. When it is clearing, if this is a combination of 1010, it will be clear. That means your counter starting a count of 00 will go till 10. Then next is after this it will reset back to all zeros. This is mod 10 or decade counter. Okay, whatever you are connecting, whether this clock is getting connected with Q0 or Q0 bar, it decides whether it is a up count or down count. It is the next portion. Like you take this total circuit, then implement this path, you will be making that as up-down modulus counter. Okay, take it as a assignment question and write it. Design a modulus 10 counter as up-down modulus 10 counter. Up-down modulus 10 counter and explain the operation of okay. So this is a normal combinational logic implementation. Now the same thing if we take back to a sequential, what is that we need is a sequence, what to say, a state table or state diagram can be taken. Say I want to count 7, a modulus counting like it. I initialize that as a count S0, say first state, S0 is the initial count. Okay. When it is 1, it will be going to next count. When it is 0, it will be staying back in the same count. Okay, S1. First count over. Second count. Third count. Okay. After finishing third count. Next. One. Five. So how many counts? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. After the seventh count, so see here, any zero coming in, that means no count, it will be staying back in the same state. This is simple counter logic. If it is 1, it initiates to the next count. Okay, or else it will stay back in the same state. Logic. Now for this, if you take your state table and draw this using a T flip-flop, see whether this is the design same as what we have taken in the combination. I'm giving this as your assignment one now. Mod 7 counter, using the state table of mod 7, okay, design the sequential circuit using T flip-flop. Using T flip-flop. Compare this with the conventional logic design. Any designs what we have taken in the copy, you can convert that into a sequential wherever it is possible, adding a clock to that. Okay. Something when you are putting that in combi, it will be iterative. When you are putting that in sequential, it is in time scale. This is one assignment question. Do this diagram and test assignment. So I'll take the first assignment this Friday. Did you submit the assignment so far? You submit the assignment so far.
No, ma'am.
Sure. This Friday, all of you submit the assignment. In the counters, whatever the question now I have given, complete it and give. Okay, these are the aspects of the designs what we have seen in the combi and sequential. But what will be the further step of reduction? That like how the redundancies has to be taken care of, how the redundancies has to be checked. That we didn't see so far. So maybe for that we try to take the aspects now in terms of limitations and the capabilities. Say when we are speaking something like FSMs, the machine or what you say the state diagram or state table, whatever you take will be having fixed number of states. Means that the memories needed will be fixed. The number of memories needed will be fixed. So for such systems, if your answer or the result that you have to store is more than the number of states that are possible in the design, then that becomes the limitation. That becomes that like it is exceeding the capability of storing the data. Something like when you have an adder, say you add 4 bits with 4 bits. What is the result you get? 4 bits are added. What is the result to the max you expect? Sum is 4 bit. This will be sum, and you get one carry, 1 bit. That means n bits are added, n plus 1 is the maximum result you can expect doing addition. That means, okay, adding and storing the data, it is possible using FSM. Because normally when we take this into physical design, each bit storage will be one register, one memory element. So altogether, if you take 4 bit, will be needing 4 registers, and storing that needs one more extra, one register. That is enough. Like, it's okay, capable enough to store some finite data. But if you multiply n bit with n bit, say 4 is multiplied with 4 bit, what is the size of the result? 4 bit multiplied with 4 bit. What will be the result size? It is exceeding that 4 bits. 4 bit register will not be in a position to store. Why I am speaking that as a register is, but how you take the data onto the system is through the memory elements only, na? Through the registers only. So this makes the what you say, the FSMs not to hold or incapable of handling an infinite result or infinite series coming into. That becomes one small limitation. So wherever we have this type of infinite limitation, or what is the capability point coming into picture, we have to limit the design such that it should not exceed that limitation or its capability. The size or the result size should be within the limit. That is the meaning. If it is more than that, then the design will be a failure. Then you have to go for another alternative methods of storing the data. That is one limitation or capability within TF. Now here in the tables also, in the state diagrams, say if you are having or you have derived a state diagram, something like this, say I take this. Like some input I am giving, taking. Okay, let us check this now. See here, say I have a design, something like this, where when you check the state A, all arrows are outgoing. There is no incoming arrow for any sort of input. There is no incoming arrow for any sort of input. That means, say, this is your initial state. Initial state in a state diagram. Once you are reaching out of that initial state based on the inputs that are happening, there is no possibility of reaching back to this state. There is no possibility of reaching back to this state. Then such type of states are called as terminal states. And these terminal states, if they are not in a position to be reached back, once we leave that state, that we call it as source terminal state. Source terminal state. If you check B and C, there is a possibility of reaching that state and leaving that state, or staying back in the that state is having an outgoing and incoming paths. But if you consider this state D, once you reach that state, you will never leave that state. Once you reach this state, you will never leave that state. Some transitions will show. There is no possibility, there is no opportunity of leaving this state once you reach this state. This is also called as a terminal state. And if there is no outgoing arrow, it is called as sink terminal state. Can we have these type of terminal state, that is source and sink terminal states in the state diagram? What is the physical example that we can give for a sink terminal state is a hold state, hold mode. The design, it is going to hold mode or it is in stuck mode or jam condition, we say. Jam condition. Like once you reach that state, further progress won't be there. Any type of input you give, it won't be coming out of that state. Continuously, it will be in that mode. That means my system will be hang mode. So all this are what we say the sink sort of terminal state, which should not be there in the design. How to come out of this is you have to switch off the power and restart. To come out of the sink state, you have to restart the system. There is no other possibility. There is no other remedy for the sink state. So sink state should be avoided in your designs. Maybe source state if you have also, okay. If we don't need to again go back to the initial state, okay, we can have a source state without any problem. But sink state should not be there. Sink, if it is there, means you are unnecessarily making your system to hang once it reaches that state by what you say, by a proper given input or by default some other random inputs happening. So sink terminal state should never be there in the designs. You have to avoid them if you have, or if you get that sink state, you have to avoid that. Source terminal states, okay, you can have because that is the initial state where whenever you are starting the system, you'll reach back to this source state and from that you will be coming out of that. Okay, but to the max, try to avoid source and sink terminal states. Sink is the most dangerous thing and the source to some extent based on the designer aspect, you can have the source state, terminal state. Okay, so when we come to the minimizations of these designs, we need to assess for what we say the probable methods of finding out the redundancies and minimizing them. See here, for all these designs, what we have to see is whether the design is a complete or incomplete design or complete system or incomplete system sort of thing we have to see. Based on that, the rules of finding the redundancies and minimizing will be different. Okay, for a complete system means that for every input there is an output mentioned and the present state, next state mentioned. That means all possible values of inputs and present state defines the output and the next state. Then it is complete. Okay, an incomplete system is that for any sort of value or some combination of values, if next state is not mentioned or output is not mentioned, then they can be categorized as incomplete. For any input of present state and the input, external input, if a portion or both, that means if next state is not mentioned or output is not mentioned or both are not mentioned, they will be called as incomplete machine or incomplete sequential machines. Complete and incomplete is the another what is it classification of the sequential designs. Okay, now we'll take separately what is the rule or how to take this redundancy check for complete system and the incomplete system. So for complete system, we analysis based on what is called as equivalence check. What is this equivalence check? Is that say you have state 1 and state 2, that means I'm speaking something in terms of present state and all. And for an input of 0 or 1, we are analyzing, say, if any input sequence is given, the same order is given for an initial state of S1 or initial state of S2. That means when you begin either from S1 or S2 or S3, any state you take, the outputs are not conflicting. Not conflicting means both should be 0 or both should be 1. One being 0 or other being 1 will be said to be conflicting. Okay, goes to or gives you the same value of the output, say. Some would have taken. See here, if I compare S1 and S2, two states, same input of X is 0 given to S1 or S2, output is 0, no conflict. Same input of X is 1 given to S1 or S2, output is same, no conflict. That means when you give both X is 0, 1 to S1 and S2, outputs are not conflicting. 0, 0, 1, 1. But same way, if you take for S1 and 3 or S2 and 3, if you take S1 and S3, if you take, for X is 1, output is not conflicting, but X is 0, output is conflicting. That means they are two complement values we are getting. The same way for S2 and S3, if you compare, the outputs are conflicting for X is 0, but they are similar for X is 1. That means that S1 and S2 are equivalent. S3 is distinguishable with this group. Okay, S1 S2 are equivalent, so you can group it and you can name it as one group or what you say one state, because the response is same. And this is S3. So ultimately you can make this as what you say minimized 2 state. What is initially 3 state, you can minimize that as 2 state. That means if a bigger complex system is there where you have plenty number of states available, by the equivalence check, we can combine them together to form some equivalent groups. Okay, that equivalent groups can be gathered or can be completely made as one system where the system response is similar. There is no conflict or there is no varied response to the same input given. Same input given. Whether you give for S1 or S2 the same input, the system response is same. That means you can group them together as one state. If 3 or 4 states are giving the same response, you can group them to one state. That means you are able to minimize, that is redundancy. Say 2 states are minimized to 1 means one state variable itself you are able to cut down there. Say 3 or 4 states are grouped together, you'll be able to cut down 2 more state variables. That is the logic of what you say, minimization. When the system response is giving the same output for the same input sequence, then those 2 states are said to be, or those states are said to be equivalent. Then we can group them together and we can minimize that. So that check of minimization, and we call it as partitioning. Partitioning based on equivalence we are doing, so equivalence partitioning. This is the method or the approach. Okay, so let me take an example. Say there is a machine with X is 0, X is 1, like state and set. many states are there? A goes to E0. To F1 B0. Say F goes to E B0, B0, G0. Now, what is this equivalence partition is? First, we group that. Before partitioning, we take all the states together. And now what we have to see is, we need to group the states which are giving the same output. We need to group the states which are giving the same output. See here, except E, every other states are giving the same output. That means first partition is based on the output. So A, B, C, D, F and G forms one group. E will be indistinguishable group. These two are distinguishable. These two are distinguishable. This is equivalent group. This is one equivalent group. This is second equivalent group. Okay, and these two groups are said to be distinguishable. Now, next step is the first step based on output. Next step is based on what is the next state that it is going to. Okay, next state means this is parental state. This present state is called as parental state. This is the next state, which is the implied state. Okay, now let us see. This parental state equivalence will be holding good if the next state to which they are going also falls in the same equivalent group. AB, if you consider, AB is in one group now, AB is considered. Next state it goes to is, one is EC, the second pair is CA. CA is in one equivalent group, okay. But E and C, if you take, C and E are in two distinguishable group. So AB, the parental pair will be split. The parental pair will be split if the next state in which to which they are going is falling into distinguishable groups. Okay. Next, AC goes to BE. B and E are in distinguishable. So AC is distinguished. Next, AD. AD again GE. So D is distinguishable. AF. Let me see here. AF. EG. So F is also distinguishable from A. Next, AG goes to ED. CG. CG is in equivalent, but ED, if you take, they are indistinguishable. So A and G will be distinguishable. So this cannot be further distinguished. So write it as next. Next, check for BCD F. Next pairing or next equivalence check. BC. BC goes to BC and AG. A and G are distinguishable. A and G are distinguishable. So B and C will be distinguishable. BD, next one, BD. B and D goes to CG. CG and A. CG and A. CG is equivalent group, A is one equivalent group. So here B and D will be in the same equivalent. Okay. Next, BF. If I didn't see her. They are in a DC corrections. A and F comes here because see, I made a mistake. A goes to E, F goes to E. So E is in like equivalent. CD is in equivalent to. So AF will be equivalent. Next, BC over BD over BG. B and G goes to CD. CD is in same pair. Okay. Next. CG goes to G. CG goes to G. C and G are one pair. That means what you can say, they are equivalent group. AF, ED, CG, and E. Next, AF you check once again. AF goes to E, PD. So A will be split, F is also split because these are two distinguishable, or they are going into two distinguishable, what you say, next states. PD goes to CG. CG is in one group, and A is anyhow it's a mutual equivalent. So CG is PD here. See, so A is mutual. Next, CG. C and G goes to BD. BD is equivalent. G is self. Okay. Next step is A further thing is not possible. E is also not possible. Once check BD. BD is CG and A. CG and A. So this is again same we are getting. CG if you take, CG is BD and G. BD and G. Okay. So here you have to stop because P4 and P5 partitioning is same. Further partitioning won't be possible. That means we minimized something here. We minimized based on the equivalence. Okay, now what was previously 7 states, now you are able to convert that as 5 states. Now we'll be doing or renaming them as something like rename that alpha, beta, pi, any names you can give. Okay, then we'll be writing that table into a minimized form. Like what we call this is a minimized machine, which ultimately transfers to be into a standard form to ABCD form. So this minimized machine alpha, beta, pi, phi, or lambda take. So the present state x is 0 and 1. What is next state is that? If you take alpha is A, A goes to E. What is E? E is lambda 0. And A goes to C. C is phi of 0. Next, beta is F. F goes to E. E is lambda 0. And F beta goes to D. D is phi of 0. Next, BD. BD is going to CG. CG is phi of 0. BD goes to A, alpha. Next, CG. C and G goes to BD. BD is phi of 0. Next, BD goes to CG. G and G goes to G. G is, next, what is that left over for us? E. E is going to F. F is beta 1. Next, F is going to B. B is 5 of 0. This is minimized form. Now, how to develop a standard form? Standard form is again back into ABCD we have to put. So, pay attention here. First, what we do is the first occurring present state will be named as A. Okay. The immediate occurring unnamed next state will be named in the sequence. So this is alpha is named as A. This is not named, so we name this as B. Okay. The next state, which if it is not named, name it as in sequence C. Okay. What is B is here. This is B. Okay. And this is C. Okay. Now B goes to this beta. Beta is not named, so this is D. Okay, and this is not named E. This is D. This is E. So accordingly, we have to write this table. Now see, A goes to this A goes to beta. Sorry, lambda. It is B 0 5 C 0. Now what is B? B is this one lambda. So B goes to D1 and E0. Okay. Next C is this one. I goes to E0. C goes to E0 and C0. Next D. D is this one. Beta. D goes to D0 and E0. E goes to this one. E. E goes to C0 and A0. This is your standard form. Now, which is given with a original 7-state machine, we were able to minimize that to 5 states. That is, redundancy checkpoint is taken care of at this level. So, understood? Partitioning check. Okay, try to understand this partitioning. The next class, I'll take another example and I'll start. Okay. Doubts are there, get them clarified. Okay, I'll stop the session now. If no queries, I will stop the session. Okay then.